Let me make sure everything's coming through okay. Go ahead and speak for me, Warspirit.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4.
All right, we read you loud and clear. Let's get going, rubber ducky. So, hello everybody. It's been a while since we've uploaded. I understand, and there's been a lot going on, and a lack of really anything going on all at the same time. We've been in a big hiatus. I'm not gonna pretend like we haven't considered like where do we go from here, especially considering the Facebook page in limbo. There's really nothing we can do as far as that goes. Like I said, getting a website up isn't outside of our possibilities. I'm considering, in the meantime, getting a thing called a link tree going. And that would be enough, at least, to be able to find our content, like our YouTube and everything, in one simple to find platform. Very simple, very accessible. From our TikToks to our social media to YouTube itself, I can post all those links there. It's all very streamlined, and in concept, that's all a website really needs to be. So, as well as a merchandise shop, which I can do very easily with Linktree. It's a completely free service. I'm not advertising it, but it's what I'm considering at the moment. So, ladies and gentlemen, to get to the main point of what I wanted to talk tonight, one of the biggest things here that has ever really happened. Warspirit, my good buddy here. My good buddy Warspirit. Did you hear that? He's beating me to the punch. He's got COVID.
Mm-hmm. I do.
Got COVID-19. Big bad COVID.
Big bad COVID.
Right. Here we are.
And like I was telling John earlier, I mean, yeah, it's not fun. I kind of feel like crap, but it's not the huge killer that freaking that it's it's like stopping me from like surviving or living. I'm out of work right now. My company won't let me go back until I'm got a clean bill of health.
Until you're like all set and ready to go, yeah. At least as far as they deem, like, and that's just funny. Like, I want to talk about that for a minute. So you got tested for COVID-19 before you really realized you had it. Like,
Yeah.
And this, mind you, folks, he's been sick for like the better part of 2 months, and
Yeah.
it's kind of weird to me because like this guy's been at home for the better part of those 2 months. It's very interesting, see? And,
I've been home for 2 weeks.
Has it been 2 weeks? Well, yeah, it's
Yeah,
sorry,
I haven't
man.
been home for 2 freaking months.
Well, no, just considering your infection and all, you've been kind of out of service, out of battery for a considerable amount of time. Like, that was the first month. And you've been in and out of work because you've got this infection, which I may or may not have seen your butt to inject some medicine into. But
well, at that time, though, see, I was going to work. I was just feeling like hell when I would get home.
Yeah, and so, anyways, you you've had that infection, you knocked it, you get back to work, you come back, and you're like, man, I'm tired, dude. I'm just tired.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like the early onset symptom. It's kind of like, oh, man, I'm tired. And then you were like, hey, John, I'm running a fever, bro. And you went ahead and you're like, well, I'm going to go get tested. That way I can see if I can get off of work because maybe I got COVID, right? And, like, it came back. And guess what it said, ladies and gentlemen? He ain't got COVID.
Negative.
Yeah, he ain't got it, right?
Yeah.
But he wakes up one morning, pulls some vodka out of the fridge. You know, you go ahead and tell him. What happened with the vodka?
Well, I keep some vodka for, whenever my throat's feeling scratchy or, really raw or whatever. And it was on that particular morning. So, opened her up and took a snort and felt like I was drinking Dasani water. And that's when I knew. Yeah, that's when I knew something was terribly wrong.
Yeah, when you drink vodka, and maybe for our audience out here who hasn't drank vodka, it's kind of like a mix between gasoline smells and like ammonia tastes. it's
It's
hardcore.
you know you're drinking. Usually, when you drink vodka, you know you drinking vodka.
Yeah, it's an undeniable.
There's no
thing.
ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Yeah, you
And
don't.
I couldn't tell what I was drinking. It was just like water.
Yeah, and I think you even asked, like, you're a woman. You're like, did you switch out my vodka with water? Something like
Well,
that.
I was just like curious about it. Yeah, I was just like, hey, you know. And he was like, no, just this is just the way you had it. I was like, okay, well. And then she she was drinking coffee, so I was like, hey, let's do another test here. So she walks up to me and like puts the coffee under my nose. I can't smell the coffee.
Uh-oh. And that's just it. That's kind of the telltale. Like, you could be, you can have a fever because the flu still exists, as much as the media doesn't want you to believe. Like all these other things could happen. Congestion, whatever else. And then like, that's the one thing that really sets COVID apart is the whole taste thing. Because from what I've described, you said it affects vodka that much. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah,
Because like,
that's way crazy.
yeah, because like, with like even a sore throat or like sick, congested, you take a swig of vodka, you still taste the vodka at least a little bit.
Yeah.
It never turns into just water. In fact, like most sicknesses I'm familiar with and have gotten, it's like it just makes everything nasty.
Mm-hmm.
COVID though, it just shuts it off. There is no taste. There is no nothing. Now,
Right.
that's really different, and yeah, that's kind of what we wanted to say. Is like, hey guys, look, we got one. So for anybody who's really pushing the narrative, who really supports Fauci and pharma and all that business, yeah, we still don't support the masks and we still don't support the vaccine. Just figured I'd let you know. I mean, because that's always like, well, just wait till it happens to you. Okay. Here it
Okay,
is.
that's happened to me, and I still don't support freaking masks. That's bullshit.
Yeah, it's like,
And
uh,
and the thing is, though, like, okay, so if you want to wear the mask, you do all that crap, that's fine. Again, I don't care. But also too, you want to take the shot, go for it. The good news for me is I actually gonna have better immunity than any of you people that's taking the shot when it's all over.
yep. No, that's the truth. And that's just something too. Is like, if I were to take the vaccine, I think it would do me more harm than good. And that's just like I said, man. Like I wish I could get into detail on the show. I really, really wish I could, but I am like certifiably immune. I I have tried. Well, I suppose tried isn't the right word, but basically, my job kind of tasks me to be exposed to COVID for hours at a time. Like, to not get too much into detail, but basically, you know, masks are
Oh
already
shit.
proven to do nothing.
My bad, dude. 2 seconds in, I'm already shooting friendlies.
Hey.
Sorry about that.
It's alright, dude. We're recording. IT's playing some games, y'all. Give him a hands up. But yeah, no, that's just it. When it comes down to it, like, I can't catch it. I have been around over 300 people with COVID-19, close to, coughed on, the whole 9 yards. Everything outside of kissing these people, I've been there.
I love you.
And that's just it. Like, for me to take that vaccine, I bet you that would screw my immune system up and I would finally catch it. I bet you that's a fact.
Oh, I guarantee it would.
Yeah.
They've already proven. So did you know that people that are donating plasma,
Yeah.
they're not allowed to donate the plasma to help COVID patients if they've had the shot?
What?
Yes, I just found this out. So there are natural antibodies in the plasma that they found out that people are donating, that patients that are really, really bad off. I actually wished I could get a hold of some of that plasma and set it up here for myself and get some goodie. But if you put somebody and give them just pure plasma from somebody who has had COVID and gotten over it naturally, they'll actually get over it faster. But these places that are doing it, they actually ask you that. Have you had the vaccine? And they don't talk about it, but if you have had the vaccine, then they will not send it to the hospital for COVID patients to help them.
What?
That's interesting.
Yep.
That
Because
is crazy.
the vaccine fucks up your plasma.
That's insane. Well, that makes sense too. Because, that's what's crazy is, like, traditionally vaccines, they're like a small bit of COVID or whatever. That's right. Get that COVID out. Get that COVID out. There you go. Let it out, buddy. But, yeah. No, so, like, generally the vaccine, it's like, it's a spiked protein. Like, it's not even it's not even, like, the disease. Is from what I'm, like, hearing. But either way, here or there, if you want to get it, go get it. I'm done caring if you get it or not. Just don't force it on me, because it ain't gonna happen. And that being said, it's like, well, what about grandma? What about all them? It's like, well, grandma's got to worry about her day to day anyways. So I think that, like, everybody's lost sight in this is like, oh, I'm worried about the old people. It's just like old people have had a lot to worry about even before COVID.
Mm-hmm.
The flu will kill grandpa all the same. If grandpa's not healthy and he gets a flu, he's gonna die. Same goes for grandma. That's just how it goes. Sadly, that's how it is. We live in a cursed world where death is gonna happen. And, making it a big political issue, I think, really is one of the biggest tragedies of COVID-19. But that being said, a lot of people use that kind of phrasing to be like, well, this isn't political. You need to save lives. Well, it's political when you start mandating it. There's no getting out of that.
That's when it gets political.
Yeah, when you start forcing people to do things, then you're getting into politics. You can't just say, no, it's not political, it's about saving lives. No. Because I'll agree, like, seriously, the pro-choice, pro-life debate, that's a political thing. There's no getting out of it. That's a political affair. Like, it's just one of those things, but at the same time, it's like, everyone feels like this weird need to, like, push this concept of morality, not morality. I genuinely think, I'll just say it, I think the truest form of morality mankind has ever come near is the word of the scriptures. And you'll notice almost pretty much every religion holds a very similar moral compass. And I don't think that's on accident. Other than, like, some of the more radical sectors. Like, of course, like Muslims and stuff, like, they don't always follow the whole, like, age of consent thing. It's all and so forth. But, like, Buddhists and, like, Christians could probably, like, have a big old party and, like, chill out. Like, Hindus, Christians, all them. Vikings, for the most part. Like, there's just, like, this unspoken Bushido. Look, samurai even. Like, that's just followed. It's like, you don't kill kids if you can avoid it. All this other crap. So morality exists. There's no getting around it. There's a moral existent within all of us, and everyone wants to be the hero. And I think that's what's really been sold. And something I was talking about this with my sister today. That really still blows my mind. This is a big buzzword that I like to use, or two buzzwords put together. It's cognitive dissonance, and. So, for example, like I've talked about it on the show before, hippies will whine. They will scream at the top of their lungs that pharma is, it's overcharging for insulin. It's raising the prices of cancer treatment. It's banned weed and is the reason that weed is illegal. Even like as far as medical goes, it's still a pain in the butt to get because of pharma. And they will scream and they will shout and they will whine and they will let it all out. It's Schrodinger's dictator, dude. He is simultaneously the largest enemy of the left and like the narrative pushers, but at the same time the holiest saint. Like, it always kind of cracked me up. It's like I'd go into a room full of like, like a chat room full of people, and they're like, "Yeah, man, pharma's so evil, dude. They like, I once read this story about a kid who had diabetes, and they let him like die on the table because his parents couldn't, afford insulin." And I'm like, "Geez, what's crazy to me is like their vaccines are kind of shady, dude." No, you can't say that. What?
Their vaccines are free.
Yeah.
They're free.
Like, you can trust them with that. Like, what are you talking about, dude? Like, what do you mean?
Anytime the federal government wants to give you something for free, there's a hidden cost.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like I said, it's like the same goes for like the race people who are like big on race issues, right? Who are like hold on to stuff from like 200, 300 years ago. It's like, our government is so evil and imperialist. Did you know that they gave blankets with smallpox to natives? You make sure to get your vaccine, though, okay?
Yeah.
And that's just one of the things. It's Schrodinger's dictator. It's like the Schrodinger's villain. Because it's the ultimate Jesus Satan. You know what I mean? It's weird to me. It's just like they'll, in the same breath, they'll defend their biggest gripe. It is so broken to me. I couldn't imagine being such a walking contradiction in life to be like, oh yes, I trust them in this area. Because like, you know what it sounds like to me, and I put it this way, is like, man, Hitler's socialist policies are really grinding into my budget, and they're like messing up my business, and like, honestly, Hitler dude kind of sucks, dude. Yeah, did you hear what he's doing to the Jews? Oh, dude, no, don't talk about that. That he's not doing that.
It's too political.
Yeah, it's too political. You're just crazy.
Well, we were even talking about too political, and it's just insane to me. I didn't know this, that you can't even call the Nazis in video games anymore.
Oh yeah. Huh.
And it's not. So we obviously here at ITTDM are anti-Nazi. We do not like Nazis. We, if I could kill a Nazi, if I had the opportunity to do so, I would do so. But you can't even call them what they are anymore. You can't call a bad guy anymore, because we're afraid it's going to offend somebody. Is there a lot of Nazis out there playing video games? I don't understand.
Well, it's kind of funny to me because like you can call. Like, unless, like, if he's wearing, it's weird, dude, because, like, in video games, right, he could be wearing, like, the black leather with the big old captain's hat and, like, all this other stuff. You can't call him a Nazi. But the moment somebody's got a Don't Tread on Me flag that supports, like, libertarian policy, which is the most, like, neutral thing ever, he's a Nazi, and that's okay, you can call him that. But don't call the actual Nazi goose-stepping around in his leather trench coat a Nazi now. And what it is, it's just another game of confusion. It's a small fish in a big pond, because that's what it is. It's like, I sit back, all this confusion, all this bullcorn, it's all intentional. Nothing in the realm of politics is by coincidence. I mean, albeit games are probably, like, so in the case of Battlefield 5, we were talking about that specifically, I thought it was really interesting that, I mean, it's literally a German panzer division in World War II you could play as, like in one of the story missions or whatever, but there's no reference to, like, Hitler, there's no reference to, like, a swastika, there's nothing. It's just might as well be World War I Germany. You know, like just completely no different than any other European country, which is harmful. Now, I'm not here to gripe and complain about Battlefield or whatever they're doing. I mean, shoot, I'm going to be playing 2042 this weekend, Lord willing. But as just being said, is like I've seen this a lot. Like, namely, and I think probably more controversial, like, over at the Albuquerque airport, they used to have, like, and I think they still have it, like, there's a wall of medals of different pilots from different countries and different eras that have landed there.
Yeah.
And in, like, 1938, or somewhere around there before the war broke out, there was a German pilot who landed in Albuquerque, New Mexico. You know, and they got a copy of one of his pins and they put it on the wall, and coincidentally, because it was the German symbol at the time, it was the swastika and all that, it was taken away. And not because the Jewish community complained, but just because somebody saw it and was like threw a whole tantrum. And I was kind of sitting back and I was looking at that, right? And I was kind of thinking to myself, I was like, you know, oh, hey Tyr, welcome to the show. But I was kind of thinking about that. I was just kind of... It's the same thing with, like, removing the statues, right? You remember that whole mess?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah, you know, I generally don't agree with General Lee's policies. I looked, like, more into it. It's like, is there anything redeemable? I mean, sure, as far as, like, Americanism or, like, nationalism goes, that's fine, but when it comes down to it, it's like, well... You know, somebody needed to drop their swords, and he lost. Let's just put it that way. He lost. And I'm not a big fan of celebrating losers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the idea of losing is un-American. And so, one of these things that come up is like, you know, but that being said, you see, for example, Nazi Germany lost. They lost hard. And they got, you know, basically put over a wooden stump and, you know, sodomized. But Germany got screwed by Hitler first and then by all the other countries that Hitler pissed off, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It goes on to say, while they were evil, I don't want them to be erased because I want people to remember that. What does evil look like? How does evil operate? And it's gotten to the point where, like, when I ask an average high school student about World War II, they don't know what, like, at all what I'm talking about. You know, like, I'll be like, hey, yeah, you know, have you studied World War II or, like, World War I or anything? And they're like, World War I was when we fought the Japanese, right? And World War II is when we fought the Germans? I'm like, no. I mean, World War I and World War II, we fought the Germans, you know. Because that's this kind of the standard knowledge I've run into. Not all of them, don't get me wrong. There's plenty of history buffs that love that stuff. But one of those things that kind of, like, shocked me is how often, like, people don't know about our World War history. Those, like, to this day, those were, like, the last time we were known as at war. That was our last big one. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that is one of the most, like, influential moral concepts ever to come about in our history is World War II. The great standoff between good and evil, simple as. Evil Japan and evil Nazi Germany. You know, evil
that's
Imperial
something
Japan,
interesting. You can still say Imperial Japan, and it doesn't freak people out.
Yeah, huh? You know, never mind what they did to
That's
the
interesting.
Chinese, huh?
Yeah, I mean, Japanese, unfortunately, I mean, don't get me wrong, we're allies with Japan now, but they did some messed up stuff.
I was about to say, dude, let me pull up, like, the number one thing I talk about when it comes to Japan.
I would much rather fight the Germans in the 40s than fought than to fight Tojo.
I was about to say, dude, if you want to know about the evilness of Tojo, look no further than Unit 731.
Yeah,
Look no further. Like, I mean,
they were.
That, you know, like, strap you to a pole, expose you to anthrax, and then cut you alive. You know, like, open, pull your organs out with no anesthetic. Children, dude, they're
Stick
evil.
your hand in vats of liquid nitrogen to see how
Get you to the point of freezing to death, right? Get you to the point of freezing to death, and then inject boiling water up your anus
to see if it warms you up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, that I was about to say, like, but Imperial Japan, we all just kind of sit back and, we can still show their symbol because their symbol wasn't a symbol of hate. What? It's the same thing with, like, you know, the hammer and sickle. You can see that everywhere. You know, never mind all the genocides that's committed.
Oh yeah,
or the cult, or just
tens
like
of millions more than. Which I agree, the Nazis were evil, but tens of million more than the Nazis killed.
Yeah, endless.
If you count all of the different societies that supported it, not just Russia.
Right. Well, let's just look at China, for example, the hammer and sickle or the golden star, whatever symbols they throw around, because they use both.
Yeah, they're interchangeable.
Yeah, and you know, never mind the 10,000 students they ran over with tanks until it was a red pile of goo, and then they washed it down the city fire drains with fire hoses. It's not a symbol of hate, it's a symbol of equality.
Yeah.
You know, but the swastika? No. See, the swastika, we can't even mention the swastika. To do so is a great sin. And now, while that being said, it's like, I don't want to see the swastika over our country. You know, like, I hate that symbol. But at the same time, it's just like any symbol whatsoever. It's like, you know, let's say the United Nations. We all hate the United Nations in here. And I'm not even going to, you know, cap on that. We despise them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we despise the United Nations. Let's say we go to war and we inevitably whoop the United Nations' ass. We got to keep the United Nations flags around. We got to put that, make it safe, and remember what got us in that boat. You know, it's just the same thing. You know, I don't condone the actions, but I condone learning about our enemies. And, like, what that looks like, you know, in case somebody, like, even if somebody just has, like, a good path, right? Like, you know, the road to good is paved, or the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Let's make sure your good intentions don't look like this guy's. You know what I mean? That's literally it. If you get rid of history, you're damned to repeat it. And that's just it, is that they're doing a lot of these tactics that both the hammer and sickle and swastika have practiced. The evil that is coming before us is going to be a hodgepodge. To say it's communist, gee, I wish it was. This is going to be worse. To say it was Nazi, gee, I don't know, man. Like, it's going to be worse than that. You know, that's pretty bad. Because Nazis are, like, truly, I think that's why, like, people get so riled up about the swastika, is, like, it doesn't get more, like, obliviously or obviously hateful than that, like, I guess, in, like, the short term. Like, just immediately you can tell, like, the swastika has become synonymous with, like, hate. But that being said, I believe all these other symbols should be, too. Hammer and sickle, all of that. But that's not just not how it works. Like, I get it, why people see that specifically as, like, evil. But if we're completely honest, there's a lot of evil symbols in the world that I can, like, borderline just go to Walmart almost and just buy. You know? And that's what cracks me up. It's like, no. We gotta erase this one. Which makes me wonder what tactics specifically that replicate the Germans that they want people to forget. That's just what I see. Because, like, usually if they're trying to erase something, they're trying to do something that they did. So keep your eyes open, ladies and gentlemen. We got anything else there, Warspirit?
No, not really. I'll be honest with you, I haven't really been too into, you know, different politics lately because I've been trying to get myself better. So, you know, I don't have a whole lot of news things. I do have, and there was something that went on. Let me look at my.
The Alabama.
Yes, Alabama. That's right. So, as you guys know, there was a big coup d'etat in the military over all the service members having to get vaccinated or be let go. And in the military, if you're let go, that means you're detached. You're detached. They go ahead and do what's called a detachment letter, or even just a detachment order. You're done. You're gone. They send you home. They did that in Alabama. In Huntsville, I guess is where it was, for a whole bunch of people that had refused a shot. They were gone for a day, and then they got a phone call. Now, this information is via some internet posts I found and also via TikTok. So, you know, we will see if it's all the way accurate, but it's looking like it is because I've looked up several things from it. They were sent home for a day, and then the very next day, their CEO called them and said, "Hey, by the way, you're detached, right? Yeah, we're reattaching you." So they found out the federal government told them, "Oh, you have to detach these people if they're not going to get it." But there was no, I guess, loophole of how long they had to be detached. So they detached them and then hired them back. Now it's all legal.
I think it cracked me up. It's like, of course, leave it to the South to just be like, yeah, okay. We'll play your game.
Yep.
You'll get fired for this. Nah, more like chewed out. I've been chewed out.
Yeah, I'll get yelled at. I've been yelled at before.
Yeah. Oh,
And for
hell,
those
it
of
ain't
you,
nothing.
for those of you, if you're not movie buffs or anything, that's off of a movie called Inglourious Bastards with Brad Pitt. He has this one Nazi. He's actually like this. They call him the Jew hunter. He's a bad dude.
A bear Jew.
And so, but he figures out he works out a deal with them so they can kill Hitler. And he's like, "Hey, you know, you do this, and I want amnesty, right?" And they're like, "Okay." So he's walking them through the forest, and he has these little aide there with him. Brad Pitt turns around and says, "Well, here we go." He pulls out his 1911 and just shoots that aide right in the freaking chest, kills him. "What are you doing? You cannot do that. They will court-martial you."
Let me bring it up for our audience. We'll just watch that clip. Hold on.
It's my favorite part of the whole movie.
It's a good way to end it. I really appreciate it. Here we are. Yeah, three
Lieutenant
minutes.
Alto Rain.
Yeah. Okay. Let me pull it up here. I'll go ahead and stream it for you boys. That window capture. Lieutenant Aldo Ryan. So everybody, enjoy this next 3 minutes.
Das ist die amerikanische Kampflinie, Herr Standartenführer. Ausgezeichnet, Herr.
I love that actor of the villain, though. He's great.
Herman, uncuff them. I'm officially surrendering myself over to you, Lieutenant Rain. We're your prisoners.
How about my knife? Thank you very much, Colonel. Yudovich cuffed Colonel's hands behind his back.
Oh, is that really necessary?
I'm a slave to appearances. Scalp Herman.
Are you
Cal Herman.
What have you done? I made a deal with you, General, for that man's life!
Yeah, they made that deal, but they don't give a fuck about him. They need you.
You'll be shot for this!
Nah, I don't think so. More like chewed out. I've been chewed out before. You know, Yudovich and myself heard that deal you made with the brass. In the war tonight, I'll make that deal. How about you, Yudovich? You make that deal?
I'd make that deal.
I don't blame you. Damn good deal. And that pretty little nest you feather for yourself. Well, if you're willing to barbecue the whole high command, I suppose that's worth certain considerations. But I do have one question. When you get to your little place on Nantucket Island, I imagine you won't take off that handsome-looking SS uniform of yours. Ain't you? That's what I thought. Now that I can't abide. How about you, Yudovich? Can you abide it?
Not one damn bit, sir.
I mean, if I had my way, you'd wear that goddamn uniform for the rest of your pecker-sucking life. But I'm aware it ain't practical. I mean, at some point, you gotta have to take it off. So, I'm gonna give you a little something you can't take off.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is how you carve a swastika into someone's forehead.
You know something, Yudovich? I think this just might be my masterpiece.
Such a
In
good
another
movie.
scene, one of the guys, I think it's Yudovich, actually tells him, "You're getting better and better in that. You think I am? Yeah. Thank you."
Yeah, dude. That was a good movie, man. I just want to watch it again just from that alone.
Heck yeah, man.
9999. Anyways, everybody, thank you for joining. Have a wonderful night. Stay safe out there. Radio Freedom tuning out.